XRP. This one's actually reacting pretty well compared to others. Weeks ago, I did mention, this thing could retest this 260 to 270 range, and then we were getting some nice momentum, and then they ended up just turning it right back around. So like this thing is obviously being like the algorithm, whoever controls this algorithm, because this is not happening because you know retail is buying and selling. No, this is not, it's not like that. People think that it's not like that. At the end of the day, this market is moving off of algorithms, and like we got this push. They wanted this to push higher. Whoever controls these markets wanted this to push high over here, and now they want us to range here. And we're gonna keep ranging here until they're ready to push us to this next level. So we ranged here all this time, and then we swept these lows, and then we continued higher. Now we're ranging here, and we can still sweep these lows slightly. As you can see, we swept it just a bit. We swept it right there. Look at that, just a bit. But it is possible that it sweeps it one more time, comes and retests this area, and then gets its push to the upside. As of right now, though, XRP is getting a pretty good reaction. So if it does bottom from here and continue higher, which I like when the market does this, like it sweeps a low and it wicks and then it slowly starts rising. Reminds me of the COVID conditions. If we take a look back at, for example, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Take a look back at Bitcoin when COVID occurred back in 2020. Where was it? You see, look, the Mario, this was a big retracement, but look, you see and then slowly, look, same thing, just then it slowly just started trending to the upside, retracing and pushing and pushing. So this is what happens after a huge liquidity grab, and then that's when the big push comes. So that's when we start getting that parabolic run. I'm not saying just yet that that's what's about to come, but we're literally entering like that phase very, very soon. So it is possible, and the fact that XRP on the 4 hour time frame is, slowly just showing higher lows, basically low, higher low. As long as we can continue this within this week, then yeah, this is definitely the bottom. But like I mentioned earlier, it is a little bit early to just say, oh yeah, the bottom is in. So I'm just playing it. I'm being a bit cautious and just, gonna show you guys the worst case scenarios, just in case they decide to continue to play around. Um, Yeah, this looks good, for a daily candle, and we still got 6 hours left. It looks good. But if not, then we'll likely just tap into this range right here, slightly below that, and then get a reaction from there. So we'll see. And we still have to hit this range up here. The market likely is gonna hit once it hits like 340. We're probably gonna get a little something like this again. It's just so much price action needs to occur still, unless something, pushes us. Let's say it's quick and it just pushes us straight through, the same way that it did over here. Look, where it just pushes through all that price action. That's really what we want to see once we start getting to these ranges. And XRP loves to move like that. So, XRP right now, believe it or not, one of the safest investments in this market. It's been holding up extremely well. As you can see, when this thing, look, it doesn't retrace as much as others. And then when it starts to recover, it recovers way better than others as well. Only down 26% full, but right now 22% from this high. And when it starts to recover, it gets, great pushes to the upside. SHX as well, SHX pretty volatile, but it's getting a nice push while other assets are not. So, these are some of the best uh assets to be holding in the market. They've been the winners this entire run. Look at that, 473% from that bottom. And we probably got what, like a 40% from this top. 52%. So this one's a bit more volatile because it's a cheaper price. So, but when I go to the upside, it's getting way more. It's getting way more percentage on the upside. So as you can see right there, 127 compared to SHX 473, so when you're gonna invest in these other alts, just understand it's gonna be a bit of a more wild ride. The volatility is gonna be wild, but you're still gonna be making pretty good gains. But XRP is hands down one of the safest, least volatile in this market, and it's been like that this entire run. Say checks, definitely one of the ones. Um, a lot of these other alts are just not gonna do what people think they're gonna do. I believe that the alts that have gotten a good head start are the ones that are gonna perform for the most part. The ones that have been holding up pretty well are the ones that are gonna perform. Um, the rest of them, they're gonna get a pump. Like, don't get me wrong, certain alts are gonna get pumped, but they're just not gonna get what people expect. So you're gonna have the opportunity to de-risk or to get out of something, even if it's break even. You're gonna have the opportunity, but guess what? That's way better than not having the opportunity to get out. So even if we get those opportunities, you should definitely take advantage of it once the time comes, because I do believe that we're gonna get opportunities to, get out of any high risk assets, or if you're in any high risk uh alts that you're in drawdown on, because a lot of alts are in a lot of drawdown, you may get an opportunity to get out. Yeah, and then maybe some of them may get like parabolic runs, maybe, nobody really knows. So we'll just have to play it, by the ear, play it, on a weekly basis. All right, SHX. So this still on its overall macro trend. This is on a nice, beautiful trend right there. So, we ended up sweeping these lows right here, sweeping these lows. We're getting a pretty decent reaction. So we went right below this low right here. So we're getting pretty decent reaction right now. I like what I see. But just understand that, they can just keep wicking at this area. Very possible, So we'll see once we get a reaction out of here, then you'll know that this is in. But just like I said with everything else, it might be a little bit too early to be saying, "Oh yeah, that bottom is in." If you want to buy the dip, it's a good time to dollar cost average, and maybe it goes a bit lower, and then boom. But SHX may, just quickly get out of here. This thing has been ahead of the market most of the time on this entire run, So if you take advantage on the dips, if you took advantage on the dips on the way to the upside, every single time you'll be in profit. So this dip, boom, profit. This dip didn't go below this one because this was the new floor. This was the new floor right here in profit. So as long as we're not going below here, as you can see, we're still on a higher low. We're still on a trend. So this is definitely getting ready to push towards that all-time high, and that stance has not changed either to where this all-time high is like a magnet right now, and it's basically just it's like a slingshot. It's just gearing up. It's pulling back, pulling back, pulling back to then gear up and head to that all-time high, maybe even slightly higher. Maybe we go towards, 6 to 8 cents and then retrace back down to the all-time high to retest it. So we do still have a bit of price action to go for for these higher levels, because we still need to break this all-time high and retest to cool down over here before continuing higher. So yeah, that's it for SHX. This is not really looking too bad right now, holding up extremely well. Velo, this one has definitely had a pretty disappointing 2025. Um, it's just ranging sideways. It's not like it's, insanely bearish, but it's just the price action. The consolidation sideways has been very annoying. We still do need to go at a minimum, like, at 3 cents over here, minimum. So, the fact that we're just consolidating here, I do think we're gonna turn from these ranges over here. Now, what price is doing, it came right back down to this demand zone. So we hit this demand zone. Then we came up. We're hitting this demand zone. So see if we could get a reaction out of here with the rest of the market as things cool down. If not, let's see what the worst case scenario will be. Um, let's see. So the market can likely, if everything decides to take one more little flush, then they'll probably just break that low and come back down into this area that that they were in before. So maybe come all the way back down here and then get a reaction from there. So we'll see. But this thing is literally, it's not the fact that it's, not dumping is a great sign, but it is frustrating because it's just going sideways, So, it's literally just going sideways, but they are creating higher highs and higher lows, which is a good sign. So we would not want to see price go below over here, because this is the current higher low in control of this overall move. So we could either turn from here or even sweep below over here and still recover from these ranges. We would not want to see this go below these ranges over here. All right. But yeah, for the most part, Velo is just going sideways, just consolidating. This is a wild card play right now. This does the chart, when you look at it on the macro, it just has so much potential. But since 2025 started, as you can see right there, 2025 started right here. This thing just it just died. It was on such a beautiful trend, such a beautiful trend right there. Look at that. Beautiful trend. And then 2025 started and it just died out. It's just like they just turned it off. Why? We don't know. Maybe they got something in store. Maybe, one of these weeks they give us a big fat bullish candle and this just goes on a crazy run in quarter four. Very, very possible still. I do not count anything out until, we're there. And then we can adapt. But for now, this thing looks like it's just accumulating within this range. It's still within an overall accumulation zone. And let's see if when the market does decide to turn around, if this can gain some momentum and push over.